it as Youth Day and what impact it had on everything about South Africa. Literally everything. That's including football. And you look back at the history of football, and that was like between 1856, like late 1800s, basically, when it was first introduced to us in South Africa. So I mean, we have to go way back to look at historic moments like that. And yes, most of it was not something proud to talk about, that I'm proud to talk about. But we had to go through things like that in order for us to be where we are in every aspect of our life as South Africans, and again, including football. And you look at, between then, the late 1800s, and probably 1992, when, we first started being welcome back into the football space, so to speak, and started competing internationally as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's an important piece of history when you think of how this day, June 16, actually affected football as well in that sense. And I mean, we were sanctioned. I don't know how many times we were suspended, how many times expelled from FIFA. A number of times, and that was back then when it was still obviously association was still white dominated. Football was still there was still that segregation in our football. And I mean, those are moments that I think we should also remember,
100%.
so that we understand why we are where we are today in terms of football. I mean, today, Tinama player, we enjoying the fruits of what people before us did. We have associations now that are owned by our people as well. We are who we are. I'm Dihang. I played the sport, as well as other footballers, generations before us, and the generation right now, the generation going forward. I think we will be enjoying this.
And that's interesting to me, because now my thing is, when you look back, right, and looking at the current state of football where we're at here in South Africa, without going abroad, would you say that the developments that we've made as a country, I mean, a lot of people cry about Bafana, where you say that back in the days, it's funny that was the golden generation. But then looking at where we're at now, how do you rate us, and what do you think that could be done to somehow get the national team back to the glory days?
I think, in fact, I'll start my the point that I want to make by saying that what I've already mentioned. We are still young, in terms of football. Yes, we've come a long way. A lot has changed, and we have improved. There are a lot of positives we can take. However, we're not there yet. As a nation, as a footballing nation. So having said that, we only got introduced to football in the late 1800s, when it came through colonialism, of course, through miners and, all of that history. But however, we must understand that we must start doing things in a way that, from a South African context, let's not take everything that comes from outside as superior, as better. We can't be subservient all the time. We can't be perpetual children when it comes to everything that comes from outside. And that goes for football as well. So it's the attitude we have as well, towards everything that is exported, and I think that becomes a problem for us as footballers. So yes, I know it's kind of political, but it'll always be, that's our history. And if we understand that, then we can be able to go forward and accept that we have a lot to learn, and we are still, getting better. But we will get there. So, but we must believe in our own, and we must work from what we know, what we understand as South Africans. Take what we have, learned from outside, but also augmented with ours. What is ours? Our identity. And once we understand that as South Africans, I think we will get somewhere. We will get somewhere. It will give us confidence. It will